In the fall of 1941, the Japanese Imperial Army set its expansionist gaze on the impregnable British colony of Singapore. It was a key component in Japan's quest for control of the Pacific. For the British, it was a defeat as great as Pearl Harbor.
Nice and close. Close the gap there, number 3. Boom!
This is a very important bridge, the Slim River Bridge. And the Slim River Bridge battle was a decisive battle in the fall of Singapore. Once they'd got across the bridge, it was pretty well plain sailing for them to get to Singapore. This fanatical Japanese guy ran across the bridge with his saber and slashed just as they were about to blow up the bridge, he slashed the wires.
And action!
One more. Master, come back.
They've taken the Japanese.
How do you feel?
To give them
You know what,
honourable
satisfied.
burial, but they've left all these troops, the enemy, just piled and shoved to the side, so that they should.
It's always a wonderful feeling to accomplish some project. But it is very special to working for Christopher because he has his vision and he is the future. And us as an Asian community, we need more and more of these kind of stories. Even though I played antagonist,
You know the name of the show? The title?
The Singapore Great.
Do you know what it means?
Singapore, what is that? Singapore Great.
The Singapore Great.
The Singapore Great.
Do you know what it means?
Don't know. I think. What is that? Hi.
Wow. Grip.
Yes.
Squeeze.
The squeeze.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what it is.
yes. Choke the neck.
Yeah. How Singapore was squeezed by the Japanese.
He's really sore, my bum, right there.
Oh, there.
Yeah. It's like I've got a stabbing pain in my bum and they're teasing me. But I tried to do the Singapore grip and obviously I've pulled something.
These are the soldiers that were trained at the boot camp. Have you taught them how to hold a gun, how to run with a gun, how to lie down with a gun, how to aim, where to keep the finger, and the safety. The first lesson we taught them is the gun is your first wife. And you're going to keep it always with you, 24 hours. Even if you go to the toilet, bathroom, whatever it is, it must be with you all the time.
This tank is going to be reproduced a great many times by CGI. There's going to be a shot where it looks like there's a whole column of them.
The Victorian anti-tank regiment literally stuck to its guns, wiping out a Japanese tank convoy.
Woo-hoo! Thank you! Great acting! Very
Singapore is reeling this morning from another night of heavy bombing. Civil defences have been working tirelessly to fortify the city. Meanwhile, our boys have been heading up country to meet the Japanese threat head on. Making life even more difficult for the maligned Japanese, work is underway securing the nation's bridges. Only necessary in the unlikely event of a tactical retreat. Yes, Singapore's defences are looking stronger than ever. In brighter news, a Singapore institution is celebrating its jubilee this week. Blackett & Webb is one of the nation's premier rubber suppliers.
something. Say something. It's your last day. Get
Christopher, yeah. I hope you love fish barbecue.
I do, yes. I'm looking forward to all of this.
You've come to the right place. Penang has got the best.
Yes, I know.
And you are a fisherman?
No.
You're an actor?
Yes, I'm an actor. I can pretend to be.
Do you know anything about this miniseries? Do you know the story of the Singapore grip?
No. No one tells us, yeah.
No, it's a story about the February 1942. The Japanese came down through Malaysia and they took Singapore. And this is a story about some English people who didn't know what was going to happen to them. Exactly so. Exactly so.
Okay.
That makes perfect sense. If we're going to take them out.
You may as well just make 76 a bit bigger and
Very
go
good.
for it on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Hopefully we can get them back.
It's amazing because in Hollywood productions I've seen rubber squid and I mean this is the real deal.
There are so many improvements now in the making of television series because the television series has become such an important central fact of what's going on. Am I talking to you or am I talking?
You just want me riveted listening to your every word.
No, I don't.
I'm riveted now. I'm
you're
riveted
listening.
now.
Okay. Television now is in many ways much better than for writers than it used to be because there's a demand for these series all over the world, and when they make them, they actually bring the writer to the location and let you help out and take part. However, when I started to write television in the 70s, it was very fast. You wrote, they accepted it, they found a director, they started shooting a few months later, and the thing was on television 6 months after you delivered it. Now it takes years. It's more complicated than a feature film. So you win. What is your Vietnamese expression?
Được cái này mắc cái kia.
Exactly
you win
so.
some, you lose
Exactly
some.
so.
Charlie, isn't it?
Do I know you?
James Arendorf. I used to go out with your niece.
This has been a real experience. I mean, working with Christopher, I think we were saying this before, he's like the go-to, he's like the cheat sheet of being able to do this. Playing American has been awesome. Half my family are American, so being able to kind of explore that. And again, bits in the book that obviously we haven't been able to explore with this purely through time has been interesting to read on.
Speed!
I'm gonna let them roll.
Sound speed!
We'll wait till they cut again, and we'll come back. Apparently the U.S. government is planning to acquire an extra 100,000 tons to put in the rubber reserve company. But it's also an amazing satire on the whole thing. Sometimes when you're reading the book and the script, you're like, there's a moment where the Major is sitting on the veranda of the house, smoking a cigarette, drinking a coffee, and a bomb goes off in the garden, and everyone just goes, "Oh, the Japanese have landed in the garden."
So what did you get out of the research, having watched and totally immersed yourself in the book?
Well, I think with Arendorf, it was a slightly more intrinsic progress because of his theories kind of run throughout the book. Did you find this with his two?
Yes, he's also the philosopher of the book, Arendorf. Arendorf's second law has become rather famous since the book was written, which is that everything gets slightly worse all the time.
I found you throughout this process, if you don't mind me saying it, incredibly precise, yet not precious about things. If it's something that you deem completely necessary, we've stuck to, but if it's something, it's been a collaboration within moments, things that work and things that don't.
I'm a writer for actors, so as far as I'm concerned, the actors are the most important element, and I like to interact with them, and I like to watch what they're doing and listen to what their suggestions might be. That's why you're here. It's not to sort of tell people what to do, it's just to...
Apart from when you're with us.
Make suggestions.
fun? Tell us what this is about.
Oh yes, I'm having lots of fun. Today we've been shooting a scene here in this, it's actually Sun Yat-sen's museum here in Penang. So having lots of fun and really enjoying ourselves, yeah.
If you're rich, how is it possible to live a just life?
Well, surely the important thing is your intentions.
All these people, for example, are they struggling as a direct result of my prosperity?
On the other hand, if it wasn't for your father's prosperity, I might well be dead. I've been really enjoying Christopher's writing. Christopher Hampton's a fantastic writer. He's created a really interesting character in Vera Chang, who's the romantic lead and the romantic female lead in the Singapore Grip. I think he really understands the character and he's really brought her to life in a way that I would have imagined he was a Chinese female.
Could that be the Singapore Grip?
Hello, hello, in silk and satin and boa, we are the girlies from Goa.
Hi, Simon.
Hello, how are you?
Good. My place tonight, all night, is on the corner there, where the cars start to get into a traffic jam, and the dialogue of the scene occurs. So, it's my job to listen to and check out. So that's where I'm going now.
Why is it your job?
I'm the writer.
Of course, the Japanese do have a foothold in Malaya now. There's no point denying it. But I can't think they'll be able to make much progress. The basic kind of foundation of any good piece of work is the writing. And the writing in this is superb. I mean, Christopher is an extraordinary writer. You know, his dialogue and description of character is fantastic, and you always know with great writing that as an actor, you've kind of got less to do. I picked this up 6 episodes, but I actually read them through. I just wanted to know what happened, what went on.
I thought it was. You're supposed to do me a tremendous favour. Come on, man, be yourself.
Come back here!
As the writer on the set, you're really only there to pick up detail that may have escaped everybody else's attention in the hurly-burly, so that you can see things that don't quite realise the moment, and then you can murmur in somebody's ear and hope that they'll fix it. You get certain satisfactions from film making that you can't get in the theatre. Scale, epic like this, thousands of extras, filming a very dramatic scene, the fall of Singapore.
I was moved by the feeling it was either Schindler's List or The Fall of Saigon.
Well, it very much is the fall of Saigon, because the novel was written in 1976, that's to say the year after the fall of Saigon, and when Jim Farrell, who wrote the novel, J.G. Farrell, later he said that the fall of Saigon was very much in his mind when he wrote this sequence, which is everybody fighting, rushing to get on the last boat which went out from Singapore to India before the Japanese invasion.
So the mass exodus of the Brits escaping the Japanese.
Yeah, and it's very personal to me because, in fact, I think my uncle was on, if not that boat, a boat that went in those days, because he worked in Penang for a company called Cable and Wireless, and he was instructed with his colleagues to get out a matter of days before the Japanese arrived. In Egypt, where my father was working for Cable and Wireless, and my brother, my mother and I were on the last boat out before the British invasion of Suez.
So they were colonialists, your parents?
Well, I guess they must have been, yes, because they were working for the Cable and Wireless, which was a nationalised British company, all over the world. So that was part of the huge colonial web that was set up at the beginning of the 20th century, the end of the 19th, the beginning of the 20th century.
That's fascinating because you're the son of a colonialist couple. Your mom was out with tea parties and playing tennis.
That's right.
And maids and servants, right?
Yeah.
And I was the Vietnamese family responding to post-war, during the war and post-war colonialism in Vietnam with the French, and you're a CBE, commander of the British Empire.
As it turns out, yes.
But yet you're writing a miniseries about the racism of
well, the evils of colonialism, really, and all the unthinkingness of colonialism, because in fact the family at the centre of this story are, by and large, people who never gave this sort of issue a thought.
Each of its arms will be wrapped around a girl representing Saigon, Hong Kong, Shanghai, all the places that we trade with. And
Walter, do you honestly think that this is the right moment to be doing something like this?
I don't think there's ever been a more necessary moment.
That's why Singapore fell, because nobody was entertaining the possibility that the Japanese could beat them. There was no thought among the British that this could possibly happen.
Thanks a lot.
Pleasure, old boy. Enjoy your first flight?
Rather.
All right, off we go. And watch out for the Singapore grip.
What's that?
You'll find out soon enough.